Hi there, and welcome back for a new video of working out this time in the lockdown again. And we're going to talk about training with the help of some band, because obviously some people have bands, some people don't, but I really wanted to touch the subject upon, since band workouts are a great way to supplement your training and to add variety in the change angle of resistance. So a quick note on band first. This isn't something that is effective for muscle building, in the sense as the resistance sometimes isn't as great as you thought it would be, since it's changing the curve of the exercise, meaning that when you're training with band, when you begin with movement, there is no tension, and so when you are at the top, there is a lot of tension. So for example, when you're doing a bicep curl, you want to have a thorough tension around the whole movement, but with the band there is no tension at the bottom, and all the tension is at the top when the biceps is already in a shortened position, a flex position, and when it's already easy to flex the arm basically. And the same goes for lateral raises and for squats, for example. You get the most amount of resistance when the muscle is already in the strongest position, and when you are trying to stretch it under a load, you don't have much resistance. So keep that in mind when you're doing your band workout. It is very low stress, and it is also really great to pump the muscle and to drive blood and fluids into the joints to have them recover and heal from any form of tendinitis or any pain. But it isn't something that you should do in order to progress. It is just something you can add to your workout. So I just wanted to show some variation of exercise, since some people have bands and don't really know how to use them or how to complement basic movement you can do without the bands. Also, band can make an exercise more difficult. It can also help you do an exercise. For example, using band on a pull-up or chin-up can help you do reps that you shouldn't be able to do normally if you just have your body weight. So it's kind of, a little help, a light addition you can have in your training. Now regarding the band and the mechanic of band in itself, I will do a full guide and video about it, both on my website and on YouTube, to be more detailed and really dive deep into the science of band training. For now, I leave you with a whole workout. It's again a lot of variation of exercise you can do for a full body type of template, for a split, for a half body, for a push pull leg, and you just have to make the most out of it. Don't worry, it's just a phase. You don't have to try to build anything really in lockdown, but it's nice to be able to maintain as much as possible. So keep that in mind, and I will leave you to it. So the first exercise we are going to see is the reverse lunges. So adding a band on top of your neck is going to push more in the make you push more in the legs, in the hips too, and the resistance is going to make the movement way more difficult, especially in the way up, and it is going to emphasize a bit more the stretch, especially of the hamstring and the glutes, just like the basic normal movement. So it is a nice addition, but at the top of the movement there is no additional tension, so the range of motion is pretty short and there is no additional tension. That's why some of you may prefer this Bulgarian squat alternative. So you put the band again on the neck and you just push straight up, and you can, depending on what you want, focus more the quad, or focus more the glutes, or even the hamstring. And since it's the single leg movement, the medial glutes is still going to work. Now, what we can also do here, as I'm showing you, is put the band in the crux of the elbow and do some kind of Z-shot lunges. So with a band, it's really effective, since you're going to pull more on the band, so there will be a way more resistance at the top. So where you aren't supposed to have any more tension, any more difficulty to move, you will have some there. And while you get your gain down, there is not much anymore. So it's really a nice way to progress under resistance. Now, for all the people that really want to trash the glutes, this one is going to be the best in my opinion. You loop the band around the hips and you just lunge away. So this way you are supposed to, just like in rib thrust, squeeze hard the glutes to finish the movement at the top. And it is still very low stress for the knee. So for me, all around, it's the best glute movement you can do with a band and your own body weight. Now for the squat, if you want to focus more the medial glute, you loop the band as I'm showing you right now, and you put your legs in them. If this is for the people that don't have a glute loop, you know, the band that you put around the knee, and just have simple band. So this way you just need to get your stance wide, and the band is going to try to push your knees in while you are pushing them out. So this is going to put a lot of tension in the glutes, and it will also make you ingrain proper mechanic and proper technique movement for the squat, since you are supposed to push your knees out anyway when you are going down. There is another view from the front. As you can see, my knees are really wide, and I'm really opening my hip and my legs when I'm going down. Now the second movement that is also really great with a band, especially bands that have a lot of resistance, is of course the single leg RDL. So with this movement you are going to stretch a lot the hamstring and the glutes, but with a band you are going to have also some resistance at the top, so it's really nice to get some extra squeeze for the back and for the glutes. Now remember the hack squat I showed you in the previous video without any material but just some book? Well, now we are just adding some band, and this way the tension is going to be progressive as you go toward the top of the rep. So this way your quads can never get any chance to rest. There is no rest pause that is possible, and at the same time the movement, when it's really stressful on the knee joint, the tendons, there is far less resistance. So this way you get the stretch, you get the pump, and you get all you need. You can also of course add a bag or dumbbells or any weight you can have, but with a band it's really going to be useful to squeeze the back of the leg. And as you can see, I can keep going without it and do some kind of mechanical drop set. All the exercises that I showed you, you can do this, and as you can see, pretty effective, right? Another one with really great for the legs, but this time for the hamstring, is going to be the leg curl. You can do it seated, you can do it laying on the ground or standing. I prefer laying on the ground just because of my apartment disposition, but you can do whatever you want, and this is really great for the biceps femoral, so the back of the lower leg. Now for the quad exercise, as a isolation for the people that are not beginner anymore and that really want to finish the quads without putting much resistance into it, you can do a body weight leg extension and add a band to have a progressive resistance toward the top when you're squeezing both the medial and lateral head. So this is really nice to burn them up at the end of a workout, and it's also really cool to add some kind of functional movement when you're also using your core. Now regarding the deadlift, again you can use any band for any deadlift variation. So here I'm obviously showing you the sumo deadlift. This is great for the hips, for the glutes, but it's also really quad-centric deadlift regarding the other type of variation. And I'm also going to show you another one as again doubled my band and putting my feet on top of it, and this time I can do some Romanian deadlift with constant tension of whatever you want. You can do your back, you can do your glutes, you can do your hamstring, you can focus really whatever you want. And this is why it's pretty nice to have band, since you can really change up the mechanic of movement there. And here, as you can see, I'm making more some kind of hack squat or trap bar deadlift kind of form with the hand position. Now regarding the upper body, so here simple classic push-up with some added band, so triceps work is going to be way more harder. You're going to have a top resistance that is way better distributed and way more difficult. But those bands, you can also use them for some fly, for isolating the chest. So again, if you're not a beginner and really want to finish and isolate every muscle you want, you just need to take a few bands, you loop them above together to not have them go separate way when you're in your back. You strengthen the arm and then you just fly away, just like in a fly motion with dumbbell or cable or a machine. And if you pull more toward the bottom, you're going to be doing more of the lower chest, and if you push toward the top, you're going to do more upper chest. Simple as that, simple mechanic. And when you're done, you can also do some kind of mechanical drop set with some kind of chest press or fly with bent arm. Now what you can do too for the chest and the tricep is of course dips, and if you add a bend to the dips, the top range of motion is going to be more difficult, just like the push-up one, so it's a harder variation for your chest and for your triceps, but especially for the later one. And now regarding the back training, you can also do your row with it. Here I'm showing you with a double mini bend. This is the elbows out variation for more traps, rhomboids and rear delt. And then you can also do them with the elbow in for more lats and more teres major, just like this. Make sure to keep your back arch and to put the stability of the movement, the squeeze in the posterior chain for your balance. The lumbar shouldn't be the only area supporting all your weight. You have to distribute it across the hamstring and across the glutes. There is the same variation, but with one arm for all the people that are too strong or just don't want to do ultra high volume on their bend row. Make sure to use your other arm to balance on your knee, as you can see, and pull either toward your navel if you want more lats, or toward your chest if you want more upper back, just like with a two-hand variation. Now a rear view to show you that even doing a T-bar, somewhat T-bar variation is going to work a lot the whole posterior chain, as you can watch my hamstring flex. Of course there is a lot of tension too in the glutes and in the erector spinae, and this is a really great movement for the inner part of the back. Now for the people that don't want to trash their lumbar or are already doing a lot of work for the lower back, what you can do is do them seated. This way you have less shear force on the spine, and you have also another kind of contraction and unique angle to work with. So this is just like a cable row, but we are using bend. So again, each time if you are pulling with the elbows in, it is more lats dominant, and if you are pulling with the elbows out, it is way more upper back traps dominant. Be sure to always have your back arch and always have your glutes flex and have tension in the posterior chain. If not, you're just going to put everything on your spine, and you don't want that. You can also change the variation of the angle by bending more forward or backward as you want. And now for the little alternative, as you can see, this is old school way of pulling. I'm doing it kind of Steve style with a back rounded, just the upper back trap. And as you can see, it's going to work a lot the lumbar spine and the lat. Now for the more upper back movement, what you can do is also upright row with your bend. This is really safe on the shoulder since you won't have any real strain at the bottom, and at the top the resistance is going to be pretty soft. So you can do it with medium grip, wide grip, or close grip, depending if you want more delt or upper traps involvement. Now what you can do too with a bend is of course curl. Now curls are the basic movement isolation for biceps and elbow flexor in general, but you can variate the elbow angle and arm position to target more some areas than others. So here I'm showing you somewhat of the biceps curl, but with the elbow a bit forward, just like with the arm blaster. Here is a variation with arm straight out, so this is just like a drag curl, so this is all biceps. Now, regarding the biceps with the bend, I really don't think you will injure yourself or really fatigue your tendon, but some positions are going to be more stressful than others. So for people that want to do the biceps and the forearm, you also have this one, which is the armor curl, which is going to target the biceps, the brachial, and the brachioradialis, so kind of the whole 3 elbow flexor of the arm. And it's also nice for the forearm and for the joint. This is going to be the least stressful variation of all of them. And now for the people that really want to target only the forearm or as much brachial as possible, you can do it reverse grip, just like this. So if you really want to make sure to not have your wrist rotating, you can do a circle around and chain them in the band to make sure they aren't moving, just like I'm doing here. And again, showing you from the face. As you can see, I'm keeping my core tight and I'm really focusing everything on my elbow. Nothing else is moving. Remember, this is bodybuilding, not strength competition on the band. And now another variation for the really strong guy, or just one who want a bit of challenge. You can use one arm for curling and the other arm to pin the elbow against your chest. And this way the ankle is going to be a bit more forward. So this is just like a preacher curl, but with a band this time. And we can bypass slightly the lack of resistance at the bottom of the rep and the ultra high peak resistance at the top, because this way you are supposed to have resistance at the bottom and a really nice contraction at the top. And as you can see, when I can keep up with a supinated grip, I go on with a neutral grip. Now of course you can also isolate your triceps with some classic push down. You just need to put your elastic in a loop above a door, or just like me above a bar pull-up, and just flex away. You can do every wrist position you want, neutral, pronated, supinated, whatever you want. Just don't push too much your elbow joint. And now for the people that want more long head of the triceps, you can also do it overhead. Obviously this is going to be a bit more stressful than the elbow, but since it's a band, you can also build the connective tissues if you're doing really high volume on it. I really highly recommend it, as I have cured multiple times tendinitis going in my elbow, just like this. And I'm going to show you from the back, just so you can see what my shoulder is doing. So here, as you can see, it's more elbow than anything else. Everything is keeping tight and do not move. This is isolation again. And now for the shoulder, obviously you have a classic overhead press with what would be normally the barbell in front. Be sure to push your band on the top and then behind you and put your head forward. This is just like a classic military press. And for the people who have mobility and want more lateral delt and upper back, you can do somewhat of a BTN press or cloak of press by pressing up behind your neck and also on the outside. It's also going to trash your external rotators of the shoulder. Also, for people that want some isolation for the delt, you can do anything you want with them, which is really nice. So here are some real delt flies. As you can see, really nice, really easy to make. You just loop your band around your feet and you just raise your arm. Here it's more for the lateral delt. It's kind of a lateral raise. And to finish, front raises. So you really, as you can see, you really have all the freedom you want with them, and it's going to be really easy to pump up the delt, which is one of the rare muscles you can just pound away with the time under tension and not really with the load. And to finish him up, the classic old school bend face pull or bend pull apart, whatever you want. It depends if you want more upper back or lateral delt. As you can see, you can just see my back changing of shape depending on what I'm doing. So this is what you can pull for really high volume daily, and to really build your rear delt, to correct your posture, to build your upper back, to open up your thoracic region, everything. And that was it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to be as complete and as full as possible for showing the possibility you can have. Please share your comment, share your thought in the comments, like the video, share and subscribe, and don't forget to also see what I'm doing on my website HersovyAC10, and I'll see you very soon for the third part of this installment. Bye.